It's a tough morning to be a conservative in Canada. The red wave, as some called it, never materialized. Instead, we woke up to a liberal minority government led by Mark Carney. It's a bitter pill to swallow, especially the loss of Pierre Poilievre in his own writing. This wasn't just a defeat, it felt like a repudiation of everything we stood for. Many of us believed this was our time. The polls showed us with a comfortable lead for months. We felt the frustration across this country, the pinch at the pumps, the rising cost of groceries. We campaigned on common sense, on fiscal responsibility, on putting Canadians first. Yet, here we are. The weight of this loss falls heavily on our shoulders. We have to ask ourselves some tough questions. Did we misjudge the mood of the nation? Did we fail to connect with voters worried about the future? These are questions we must confront as we regroup and rebuild. Mark Carney is an enigma in Canadian politics. He's a highly accomplished economist, having steered both the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England through tumultuous times. His credentials are impeccable, his intellect undeniable. But experience in elected office? None. This is what troubles many conservatives. Can a man who has spent his career in the ivory towers of finance understand the daily struggles of Canadians? Can he relate to the farmer in Saskatchewan, the fisherman in Nova Scotia, the single mother in Toronto struggling to make ends meet? His victory is historic, no doubt. Never before have we seen someone with no prior political experience ascend to the Prime Minister's office. It's a bold experiment, one that fills some with hope and others with trepidation. It would be disingenuous to discuss this election without acknowledging the elephant or perhaps the eagle in the room, Donald Trump. His presidency cast a long shadow over Canada, and his aggressive policies, particularly on trade, left many Canadians feeling vulnerable and uncertain. Carney cleverly tapped into this sentiment. He positioned himself as the steady hand, the experienced leader who could stand up to Trump's bullying and protect Canadian interests. This message resonated, particularly with voters who felt betrayed by the current administration's inability to stand up to our southern neighbor. Trump's shadow loomed large in other ways too. His divisive rhetoric, his disregard for democratic norms, served as a cautionary tale for many Canadians. It fueled a desire for a leader who represented the opposite, a leader who embodied civility, competence, and a commitment to international cooperation. So Carney made a lot of promises during the campaign. He promised to invest in affordable housing, to make life more affordable for Canadians who are really struggling with the rising cost of living, and to stand up to protectionist policies from the United States. He even pledged to increase defense spending, which honestly surprised many given his party's traditional stance on that issue. These promises, well, they definitely resonated with voters. But the real question is, can he actually deliver? Governing, as we all know, is a lot more complex than campaigning. The Liberals fell short of a majority, which means they're going to need to form a coalition government. And that's going to require compromise, for sure. And it really remains to be seen whether Carney can maintain his promises while trying to appease his coalition partners. Conservatives, in particular, are concerned about his economic policies. Will his experience as a central banker translate to sound fiscal management? Will he prioritize economic growth? Or will he, end up succumbing to the demands of the left-leaning parties he needs to govern? The future of Canada under a Mark Carney government is, well, uncertain. He's honestly an unknown quantity, a political novice with a pretty daunting task ahead of him. Canadians have placed their trust in him, hoping he can navigate the turbulent waters of both domestic and international politics. For conservatives, this is really a time for reflection and reinvention. We need to understand why our message failed to connect with a significant portion of the electorate. We need to ask ourselves what we stand for and what kind of Canada we want to build. But one thing is certain, the political landscape in Canada has shifted. The old playbooks, they just don't apply anymore. As conservatives, we need to adapt, to evolve, and to offer Canadians a vision for the future that is both aspirational and achievable.